Hello, everyone. So wonderful to be here with you all today. Just to be here, to be alive here in Birmingham. It's beautiful weather, and I feel really grateful to be able to have time to be out in the sun and in the elements. So, one of the things that just keeps coming in is the importance of being enveloped by the elements, allowing them to service the way that they are naturally created to do so. And particularly right now in this watery sign of Pisces, water being the element that we really can be nourished and cleansed by. And we're just going to go ahead and drop on in and see what's in store as far as a collective reading, as well as moving down into our daily and personal lives. So I'm working with several decks here today. The first deck that I'm working with is with the Seven Sacred Flames. This is going to be the deck that we use for the collective overall reading for humanity. And then I also have these fun cards. They're just, they can be a little bit silly, but they keep things light. So I like to sometimes have those available to look on the lighter side of life. And then I have my trusty angel cards. And these are the cards that we use for action once we get the overall feel for what's present and potential outcomes for collective and for personal. We use these to find some direction. Okay. Got a lot of decks today. The other one that I pulled was the Untethered Soul. So we'll use these to look at what are personal and collective challenges, maybe. And then lastly, I try not to use this one, except for very personal sessions because it's really long, but it's so beautiful. Look at that. The Earth Warrior Oracle card deck. And this one's really, really potent. And I felt like today was the day that we were going to pull this. So we'll use this deck. I'm not even really sure what it's for. I just know that it's one of the ones that wants to be used. So just feeling into all of the energy present right now. There's a lot of states of completion that are happening. I'm really seeing in my own life and what I'm observing around me is a lot of the transitions that started happening in relationship back when there was some transit with Venus around the same time that we had the eclipse in December of last year. And it feels like there's a lot of pieces of that are now coming, like they're conclusions, there's completions, there's endings, and also always when there's endings, there's beginnings. We cannot separate life and death. So even though it's a new moon and this tends to be the time of rebirth, revitalization, it's also the ending and the closing of a lot. So maybe there is something present there around that, and we'll just go ahead and see what's called forth. Okay, so the first is looking at our collective reading for humanity, and this is just the overall theme or lesson, really perceived from a higher point of view, from the spiritual aspect. Okay, so we got a card based on the first ray on divine will, surrender, and power. If you can be self-luminous in 100 years, you can also be self-luminous now. Beauty and order are heaven's first law. Wow. So some things that want to be said about that is that, especially considering what's happening in the world right now with war in Russia and the Ukraine, I think a lot of people feel disempowered about what they can do. And there's maybe this belief that if I had this, or if I was at this place in my life, that I could make an impact, I could do something. And according to this card, the truth is that it's always present and it's always available. So maybe looking at anywhere that you have like this construct of, if I only had this, then I could achieve that. You know, is that backwards? Is it actually the other way around, that we have to choose to step into that vibration, into that quality of life, into that self-perception, that we then manifest that thing that we want to create, whether it is peace in the world, or it's financial stability, or it's harmony in family, or productivity in career. You don't have to wait. You don't have to be under this limiting idea that it's outside of your reach. And I like that last piece in there. Beauty and order are heaven's first law. And that all of this is based in this realization and perception. How are we perceiving the world? We perceive the world as the same way we perceive ourselves. And can that direct you back in to find some things in you that maybe need to be restored back to love and harmony and order within you? Knowing that chaos precedes order. And so even though in these times where we see suffering and we see war, we see all of the tragedy associated with war, and that's not to invalidate any of that or diminish the impact that it has on people, and the sorrow and the sadness, but also to expand beyond that and to see how there is a dualistic perception here, and that we in ourselves can create that peace treaty within us, and we don't have to wait for it to happen outside of us. Okay, that feels complete for that. So let's go a little deeper into how this is going to be affecting individuals personally, as well as just getting a deeper look on the collective level at some of the things that we might see during this new moon cycle over the next 2 weeks. So here's our collective card, and this is our personal card. So collective, experiencing energy. Energy doesn't get old, it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. Okay, that's interesting. And then going beyond. This is for personal. So we're just starting to magnify more about what this means to be luminous in the moment, to not think that it's something far in the distance that we have to achieve, and how chaos precedes order. Would you like to go beyond yourself? Would you like to feel no edges? So I'm going to read these two together and then offer an interpretation. So for the collective, energy doesn't get old, it doesn't get tired, and it doesn't need food. What it needs is openness and receptivity. Okay. And then personally, would you like to go beyond yourself? Would you like to feel no edges? Openness and receptivity are keywords here. You know, is there somewhere that maybe we're waiting for things to burn out, where we're waiting for something outside of ourself to change our world, what we are experiencing immediately and collectively? Are we waiting for the savior to show up? Are we waiting for someone else to take action? And so finding where you have this container in yourself where you say, I can only go this far because I have this, or I don't have that. You know, how do you start to dissolve that limitation in yourself? So as we start to call on the angelics, the high angelics, the archangels, those that serve humanity in its healing, wholeness, and restoration, they help us to see the actions that help to manifest this. Okay. Do we need more cards? No, just one. All right. So the card that I pulled here, I would assume is about education, about, I don't want to use the word achievement, but if there are goals that you've set for yourself and you said, I can't do it because I don't have this and I don't have that, I have these limitations. Like how real is that? How self-imposed is it? Is there something available to you that is going to help you reach your destination? Is it in the form of some education? There's so many resources out there now. You know, there's a lot of free online courses and seminars and conferences that even though it may not be the ideal situation you want, maybe it's not, you know, the course that gives you the certification or the path that you initially wanted to go, the one that's glamorous, the one that you feel really drawn to. Maybe there's another way. Maybe there's another doorway. Maybe it actually leads you in a higher direction or takes you further along the path, or is a more direct way to the destination. We don't know the hows. We don't know the hows, but would you like to go beyond yourself? Would you like to feel no limitations? Is there some sort of educational platform that you can offer yourself? That could be just reading a book. That could be getting involved in a group. It could be something online. It could be a number of things. But can you be open and receptive? That is our collective need, is to be more open and receptive. And that has some of that Aquarian vibe to it. And yeah, the expansion of Jupiter. Okay, so we're going to go with the deck of the universe deck, which again, it's like, keep it light. Right now, there's just so much heaviness and a lot of fear, a lot of sad things that are occurring. How can we keep it really light and be here in the moment, be able to process what's present, but also, you know, just aware that everything is changing. Nothing is constant. Nothing is forever. And can we find some joy in those moments? What you give will come back. When in doubt, give. Let them have it. Surrender. Make peace. When there's no doubt, give. Let them have it. Surrender. Make peace. And the note from the universe on this is where it's like a little silly. Did I make life too easy? P.S. There's no doubt who is number one in my book. Shh. Message from the universe. And I really feel that in my own life, like the constraints that I've created around how much I give of my time, how much I give of myself, what the value is, can I, what are my expectations with giving? When is it proper for it to be an exchange of energy, and that exchange be in the form of barter, of money, of time, of service? And when is it time to just give because that is the natural way of the universe? It is generous. God is generous. So what is the balance there for you? Is there some way is there a place to surrender in your giving and receiving, and to give without expectation? And is there also an element there of surrender and surrendering in the way of honoring what the value of your time, your expertise, and your service? So our last card is from the Earth Warrior deck. This is such an intense deck, but I love it very, very much. This actually comes from Kauai, and the illustrator is from Hawaii, and you can kind of feel that. It's got that very shamanic vibe too, and it's a very, I've said very a lot in this video, haven't I? It's an intense deck. I think I've made that pretty clear here. So let's look and see collectively and individually what wants to be shared. Okay. Always so potent. Collective. So the pictures themselves, they hold archetypal energies in them. And as you look at the picture, I wish I had a way of just sitting this up in front of the camera while I read. It seems to have an activation effect on the psyche. I'll see if I can hold this while I read it. So what we got is has divine might foretold. So this is collective. You know what is correct. You understand that any gain which comes from denying your values and compromising yourself creates a loss of soul. There are times when it may seem as though people who act without integrity are obtaining benefit without adverse repercussions. Life can seem unfair if you limit yourself to a strictly human perspective, yet nothing escapes the attention of the spiritual worlds. Restorative action and balancing fairness is always in action at a higher level according to divine timing and wisdom. Stay true to your integrity, put your faith in divine justice, and you will win in a way that brings benefit to many. Well, to me, that just speaks directly to what's happening, in everyone's vision right now with the war in the Ukraine and Russia. And I feel like this was quite clear in not getting caught up in really what gets perpetuated in media, not getting caught up in the doom and the gloom, and it can be a trap, and the unfairness that we perceive as humans. It comes back to that first card about knowing that there is an order to the universe and that everything is in divine order and chaos precedes order. And that to think that people and institutions and systems that are responsible for these tragedies are not going to be, they're not going to receive their karma. It's just not true. And to remember that we have to step back. Thou shalt not judge, because there is a greater system that is keeping tabs and making sure that everything comes into balance. And so knowing, the energy around this that I'm really feeling is, Russia kind of shooting himself in the foot, and that we probably will begin to see some of those repercussions for them in the coming months. But overall, just not getting caught up in this. Not collectively, it's really important that we don't get caught up in it, because what our media has done is it has spawned this trauma bonding. Okay, yes, it's so this trauma bonding. We're all, when we get together, it's the thing that we can talk about, and it's not based in any kind of heart-centered vibration or experience. It's keeping us really in the lower two chakras, and really in that first chakra that is based in survival. It keeps us spinning around in that. And so the news is really good about always having some kind of revolution around fear in some way, shape, or form. Fear, survival. This is just a new one for us to get wrapped up in. And so collectively, it's really important that we step back and we go, no, this is, there's a higher authority, a higher power involved in it. Yes, it's tragic and it's terrible. And any way that we can relieve suffering, we should. But don't attach to the story and let yourself get caught in the loop. That continues to create and manifest these collective experiences of survival, of war, of tragedy, of conflict. So on an individual level, we're just going to take this a little bit deeper. Okay. I don't know how to always pronounce these. So, Hozo, I'm sorry if I'm totally butchering this word. It's the Navajo way. It's the very first card. That seems quite significant. Beauty. Beauty way of the Navajo. You are my sacred earth child, and I am your divine earth mother. With unconditional love, I provide all that you want and need so you may fulfill your sacred destiny. We will always belong to each other. With abundance and generosity, I support you and reveal such divine beauty meant for you that joy and awe shall fill your soul. Relax now. It is time for you to be healed. There is a beautiful solution available. Do not place your faith in worry or stress. Allow life to unfold. As you relax and give yourself permission to rest within the vastness and beauty of nature, you will become receptive to the best way to handle things. Don't try to figure it out by force. Let go and trust that what is needed is coming to you at the perfect time in the perfect way. Your peaceful mind shall readily and accurately perceive all that you need to know. So I felt a couple of really key aspects that came through in this reading. And one very clearly in the last card was about letting go and allowing ourselves to be in trust of the natural processes that are happening around us and through us, about order. And then this card talked about beauty, and that was in our first card too. Beauty and order, heaven's first law. And how can we, in ourselves, be personally invested in seeing beauty in our surroundings, seeing beauty in ourselves, being able to trust that there is this path that's illuminated before us. Every step that we have to take, the stone appears. The path appears as we step. It's not that we wait for the stone to appear and we step. We step and then the stone appears. So the I'm just starting to get like the synthesis of all of this is the element of trust, trusting in something beyond ourselves, but also that trust in our own intuition, in our own process, in the natural rhythms of the world. And in this particular cycle, as we're ending winter, we're starting to prepare for spring. I have felt a shakeup from this new moon. It's been like a little bit sharp in places, and it's to allow anything that has not fully gone through the decaying process, has not fully become the mulch of the earth, to do that. To recognize it, to let it go, to cut it away, to let it dissolve. And this is where that healing element of water, Pisces, where we can cleanse and baptize ourselves and to feel that refreshing, that rejuvenation of the element of water and of the new moon. If you've never done a new moon ritual, it can be a wonderful time to do an exfoliation on your skin, to do a water baptism. That could be in the shower, that could be out in nature, it could be in the bath. It could even be the way just that you are drinking your water, taking a moment to really acknowledge all of the healing qualities and benefits and the preciousness, the value of water. And maybe adding some kind of essence to your water. Maybe it's a plant essence of sorts, or something that represents beauty to you, so that you can internalize that and feel that connection with beauty in you as you becoming you and you expressing that beauty. Just feeling into if there's anything else that wants to be shared. Okay. So this feels complete. I hope you enjoyed this new moon reading. I sure did. I look forward to doing more of these on the new and full moon. If you haven't had a chance to, check out the new moon sound meditation. It is a sound calibration for your field to help eliminate some of these dead and falling away things that are in this last cycle of winter, so that you can, it's like an energetic exfoliation. I just realized that. I really like that term. That should have been at the top of this video. If not, you will see it in the feed. If you like this and want more, hit the like button, subscribe. The first 3 people to comment on a reading, I will send you a private video with a personalized reading with several of the decks. So thank you so much for spending your time. Like, share, subscribe. And I look forward to another reading here in a couple of weeks. And I wish you a pure and simple life. Pura vida.